it means to be working with Blake again.
Oh, we're talking about you all day.
Trying to be like, do you think the movie has been impacted by Blake and Justin stuff without being so blunt? And Anna tried her best to be like, I don't know, like, what's going on? And walked away so fast. Like, she did not want to be asked any more questions.
Your daily dosage of celebrity-related drama. Let's get the word out about juicy scandals and secret affairs as quickly as possible. When Anna Kendrick eventually breaks the act, Blake Lively is in a downward spiral after years of playing the part, grinning, making jokes, and seeming to be best friends. But things were different behind the scenes. Anna is ensuring that everyone is aware of her inability to tolerate Blake. Let's examine one of the most tense, awkward, and painfully fake friendships in Hollywood. After Blake's most recent scandal surfaced, Anna decided she was done being polite with this master manipulator for good. You know it's hopeless when your own co-stars are running away, but here's the real dagger. Originally shown as inseparable, Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick were actually just putting up with one another. Everything she has fought so hard to establish is being destroyed by Blake's lawsuit against B. Don is more than just a scandal, he is a career disaster. She exposed herself as one of Hollywood's most well-known manipulators rather than using victimization to exert power, and guess what? The whole industry now acknowledges it. Actors' brands from the studio know one is leaving faster than Anna Kendrick, but everyone is running for their lives. Just look at the experts in body language who are now studying this problem. Let's return to the source of these two's long-simmering animosity. Even if you only watched one of their interviews, you could tell that something was off. The artificial tension was unbearable. The Simple Favor press tour started with this catastrophe. The phony grins made it painful to see the entire time. Anna didn't want to be there, and it was brutally clear that she only went because she had to since she couldn't stand being around Blake and the fans. They recognized it immediately, and Blake even oddly acknowledged that she envied her own mother's confidence. Their real-life conflict was ruining the movie's promotion, so even Lionsgate had to intervene and make them appear to be friends after seeing the catastrophe. Indeed, the hostility was so obvious that a multi-million-dollar studio had to send them a message, basically asking them to stop treating one other so coldly. Imagine being so obnoxious that you had to grin next to your co-star in your own studio. Then Anna Kendrick made her well-known muting remark. She responded without hesitation when asked if she bans anyone on social media. I have muted some people. The interviewers and fans realized she could as well have labeled Blake right away because of her tone, which was pure unfiltered shade. But trust me when I tell that if you start researching Blake's background on set, things become a lot worse. You believe Anna Kendrick is the only one who finds her unbearable, but it turns out that nobody wants to collaborate with her. In addition, Blake was so bold as to label Anna an egomaniac in front of her. The staff members who worked on the movie behind the scenes for a little favor had a lot to say, and none of it was good. Let's now discuss the actual victims in this situation. Blake's lack of concern was the worst part. Blake was so unbearable, according to one former assistant director, that she left Hollywood altogether.
Details to really get a full understanding of how bad Blake Lively is. I don't know. This doesn't look like a woman under stress. This doesn't look like a woman who can barely get out of bed, as we've seen in reports. This looks like a woman who cannot wait to be back in the spotlight.
Blake was a nightmare who insisted on being in charge of everything, acting like the director, and ruining everyone's life. The movie, she fulfilled her commitments. She didn't just quit the industry or the job. Because Blake was so cruel, I quit Hollywood. Would you be so toxic that people would change jobs to escape you? However, much is still to come. Following a small favor, former crew member Henry Golding recently disclosed Blake on Instagram. He wrote on what happened in the sequel. She was harsh to a lot of individuals, which was the last shocking revelation. You strive so hard to satisfy someone who never seems to be satisfied and continuously knocks you down, which is why I grieve my way home many nights. This is a full-fledged Hollywood horror tale, not simply a terrible attitude. Henry Golding attempted to maintain a professional demeanor, but Blake's troubles were not limited to crew personnel. Her own co-stars were also fed up with her. An old ad sprang into the comments section and revealed everything. She described her time spent working with Blake as the worst of her career, so awful that it forced her to leave the field. Because she was tired of being nice and didn't want to put up with any more PR nonsense or fake smiles, Anna Kendrick refused to let Blake manage the sequel's promotion. Anna resisted accepting Blake's preference for top billing over her and campaigned for equal billing instead. Anna performed the ultimate power maneuver and quit the business entirely when Blake persisted in trying to control the issue. Everyone knew that Anna was a nightmare to deal with, and she refused to collaborate or help Blake salvage face. Who can blame her, really? She is currently witnessing the disintegration of her connections in real time after Blake ruined them all. But let's be clear that this is more than just a little PR catastrophe. The crux of Blake Lively's career collapse is her desperate attempt to manage the marketing of A Little Favor, which is like a slow-motion, devastating car accident. 2. She had to grab center stage, demand control, and turn the entire event into an even greater disaster because, in classic Blake fashion, she couldn't let the movie speak for itself. Let's talk about the poster. A catastrophe. Blake asked for her name to be above Anna Kendrick's because she thinks she's the Beyoncé of Hollywood, but in reality, she's simply a discount. Serena van der Woodsen, who peaked in 2012, but Anna quickly shut that down. She fought for equal billing because, surprise, she is the more respected actress, but Blake, she wasn't letting that go. What followed were weeks of exhausting behind-the-scenes negotiations with Blake's team, filled with full-blown tantrums, as though this were some Oscar-winning masterpiece, rather than a Prime Video sequel to a mid-budget thriller that was released 6 years ago. Speaking of Blake's obsession with control, let's not forget about the Step-Haggard billing dispute. Anna refused to let Blake steamroll her, and things got so bad that the studio had to step in and settle it. Because Blake apparently threw a fit loud enough to make it happen. The final decision staggered billing, meaning that Anna's name appears first but Blake's is slightly higher on the poster. However, Anna wasn't about to waste time fighting a woman who is so consumed by her own ego that she can't see straight. However, let's not act as though this is brand new knowledge. People are now talking about Blake Lively, who has been a nightmare for years. Her co-stars loathe her because of her poisonous, domineering, manipulative, and holier-than-thou behavior, which has been revealed to the point that even her immaculate Instagram photos cannot rescue her. Working with Blake left the crew members so traumatized that they actually warned others about her. The fact is that you are so tough, so terrible, that those who work in one of the most poisonous businesses on the planet, Hollywood, believe you are the issue. And let's not overlook the century's worst PR disaster. In addition to being a speech, Anna Kendrick's British Academy Film Award address was a masterclass in dragging Blake Lively without bringing up her name. Blake's fixation with power and her inability to accept Baldoni as a director filled the whole monologue, which was a not-so-subtle lesson on respecting directors, respecting authority on set, and knowing when to sit down and listen. Her outbursts about creative decisions. The worst part is that people have started identifying trends in Blake's actions, especially her dubious propensity to act like the victim if everything doesn't go her way. And you know what? No one is buying it anymore, therefore it's backfiring badly. Hollywood is completely done with her as she revealed her own deceptive playbook in an attempt to unseat Baldoni and dominate the media narrative by presenting herself as the innocent party. Ryan Reynolds' former partners have started to voice their opinions, as if that weren't awful enough. Behavior takes time to manifest, and an increasing number of people are quietly verifying what has been said for years. Blake was never some misunderstood angel. She was just very good at making herself look likable. But now that the mask is off, let's talk about the SNL 50th anniversary disaster, which is when everything went wrong, and how Hollywood rejected her. On live television, Ryan Reynolds thought it would be humorous to make a joke about Blake's lawsuit, but let's just say it fell like a lead balloon. The industry was not amused, the crowd was utterly quiet, and even famous people who already hated Baldoni said, "Yeah, no, this isn't funny." Imagine the immediate response if you were so unlikable that not even your enemies would defend you. Hollywood's big players started to back off. Studios refused to cast her, and major projects she was working on were scrapped. Blake was supposed to appear in a well-known HBO drama, but guess what? Ryan is also in danger. His Deadpool legacy is really in doubt. Now that studios are purposefully avoiding her name because she is clearly industry poison, that isn't happening. The same company that has survived is Marvel. Ezra Miller, he is currently being side-eyed by Jonathan Major and every other controversy imaginable due to the PR disaster that has enveloped Ryan Reynolds and Blake. This is only the beginning, let's face it. Hollywood moves swiftly, but with power when it does. Blake thought she was invincible and had total control over everything, but now she's witnessing it all come apart. Because Lively Reynolds' businesses are ditching her and the studios don't want her, the whole industry is distancing itself from her circus. It's really incredible to watch as Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' whole enterprise implodes in real time. The fans have had enough of Hollywood's most publicly humiliated train wreck, which was once its most adored power couple. Fans are pulling them apart on social media due to the strong criticism. Hashtags like Cancel Lively Reynolds have been trending constantly for weeks. People are now recognizing them for the deceptive, cunning, and power-hungry individuals they are. Extra A-list stars who formerly feigned like them are dumping them one after another, which makes it extra funnier. Blake's A-list connections have always been her biggest asset, but these days, nobody wants to be seen with her famous friends. They have removed them from the mess, removed them from their inner networks, and surreptitiously unfollowed them on Instagram. It's a death sentence in Hollywood. The brand comes next. The exodus marketing the perfect lifestyle has been the cornerstone of Blake's whole career, but the issue is that it only works if people actually like you. Brands fled to the hills as soon as she began to show off her wealth. No more high-end sponsorships, fashion collaborations, or endorsements because no one wants their company associated with a manipulative lawsuit magnate who is now more famous for her legal disputes than her acting, and her dedicated public relations team is working non-stop to keep the sinking ship afloat. Behind closed doors, though, Hollywood agents are advising studios to put her on a blacklist due to the fact that she is now a significant financial risk in addition to being toxic. As if it weren't awful enough, Ryan's reputation is ruined since, although Blake is pulling him down with her, he isn't really resisting. Instead, he is going downhill with her. Not to mention the $400 million lawsuit that is poised to devastate their company. This is not a little legal dispute.
They had another issue making the 2018 movie A Simple Favor, which was a success, making $98 million on a budget of $25 million, but she didn't get along with Anna Kendrick. It was reported they were both pretty immature, where Anna Kendrick demanded to show her cleavage in the post to distract people from Blake Lively. And the two didn't have a good relationship on set, which is why they didn't do many interviews marketing the movie.
Rather, it is a major case that will devastate their finances and image. Blake thought she could outsmart Justin Baldoni, but now he's after her. The goal of this case is to permanently harm Blake's reputation, not only to expose her deceptive tactics. And let's face it, Baldoni has the receipts, and he's winning because in Hollywood, the choice between a manipulative actress who simply generates drama and a respected filmmaker who truly delivers results is obvious. Not to mention the money. Blake and Ryan are now losing a lot of money, and their legal fees alone are prohibitive hiring expenses. Prominent attorneys waste millions of dollars in a desperate attempt to save their professions. They are not Beyoncé rich, despite their riches. They're going to lose money in ways they never expected because of this lawsuit. But it's not just the lawsuit that's hurting them. It's also the canceled deals, the incessant bad press, the failed PR campaigns, and every effort to alter the media narrative that has failed and burned. The more they battle, the more people turn against them, and now there's no going back. They believe they could control the narrative and use it to their benefit. Not only are Blake and Ryan losing, but they are also rapidly losing. The business has turned its back on them. Fans are dragging them every day, and their once immaculate reputation has been ruined. Instead of just canceling them, Hollywood is replacing them. Studios that formerly fought to hire Blake have since hijacked her reputation as an it girl and are now queuing up new faces. Let's face it, Ryan is quickly losing his golden boy image, and Hollywood doesn't wait around for an actress with a damaged reputation and a history of trouble.